Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is James Quintero. I represent the Texas Public Policy Foundation. I want to thank you for taking up this measure today, and thank you to Chairman Meyer for bringing forward this important taxpayer protection. Before I launch into my remarks, I just want to offer up a few thoughts on prior witness testimony because I've seen quite a bit today. The first is that it was alleged that SB 2 from 2019 has achieved its intended effect. Well, I can tell you 2 years out from the largest property tax cut in Texas history that it has not, in fact, achieved its effect. Property taxes are still growing far too much. Second, there is this notion that the 3.5% is a hard figure. In fact, it is not. It's a soft ceiling. And what I mean is that there are many variables built into that 3.5% limit, like new development, but also the use of certificates of obligation and the unused increment tax rate that elevate 3.5% far above that level. So when we talk about adjusting it down from 3.5% to 2.5%, that just takes a little bit of steam out of those other variables. And the third thing that I'll mention is that I know some cities and counties have expressed concern about where they're going to find the savings. I would remind the body that last month, the Third Court of Appeals ruled that the Death Star law is constitutional, and what that should prompt cities and counties to do is to right-size their regulatory frameworks and adjust what they're doing. And by virtue of that act, that ought to free up resources that they can commit to essential services. Now, with that out of the way, I just want to offer up three very quick ideas about why you should look favorably on this measure. The first is that it will bring consistency and uniformity to the tax code. What I mean is that right now we have three sets of revenue limitations in place. There's, of course, the 2.5% for schools, the 3.5% for some cities and counties and special districts. There's also an 8% that's in effect. What we're doing with this potential measure is collapsing that 3.5% bucket and moving folks to a 2.5% measure, which I think will bring simplicity and uniformity to the law. Second, I spent some time earlier these last few weeks delving into annual comprehensive financial reports, which are as boring as it sounds. And what I did is I collected 4 sets of data for the top 10 largest cities and counties. And what you'll find is in the latter portions of this document, there are blue and orange charts that note the tax levies, the population, the tax rates, and the values, again, for the 20 largest jurisdictions in Texas. You have that data mapped out for you. I won't bore you with my findings, but I will offer this generalizable observation, which is that by and large, and this is based on audited data, by and large, levies are up, population is stagnant, your rates are mildly down, and your values are way, way up, right? And all of those things come together to help explain why we are where we are. The last thing that I'll mention is, because I'm a hoot at parties, I also spent the weekend looking through 75 notices of public hearing on tax increase last weekend. The intent of that effort was to try and figure out, well, we know based on historical data that property taxes are going in a poor direction. What about future or threatened tax increases? And based on that information, which I've also included in appendices C and D, we know that there are some major tax hikes coming our way, and not just from the city of Austin. Again, there's 75 jurisdictions noted in your document that have the potential to erode the tax relief that you just authorized and that voters have not even had a chance to ratify this November. So I hope the committee will take this data into consideration and look favorably on SB 10.
Members, any questions for James? All right, always appreciate you coming, James.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.